What's up, everybody? It's your boy Dtlf back with another video, guys. Welcome to another episode of Around the League. Got a very, very special episode here for you guys today, man. Of course, Around the League ain't Around the League without the special guest. You guys know this guy. He's a Around the League veteran, my good friend Big Q. What's up, baby? How you doing?
What's up, Laker Nation? DLF, appreciate you, brother.
Of course.
The show.
Hey, we got a lot to talk about, man. We're all excited about the Lakers stuff and all of that. So definitely glad to have you back on. Another guy who's also been around the way, my guy Eddie from NBA Lakers World. What's up, brother?
What's up, guys? What's up, Dan? What's up, BQ? How you guys doing? I know it's been a while. It's been a minute, but we're here.
Yes, sir. Hey, man, glad to have you back on here, brother. And we got a special guest today as well, man. My guy Raj. You guys know him from Lakers Detailed. If you guys haven't already subscribed, you're missing out. Definitely check out my brother. How you doing, Raj?
I'm doing good, man. How's everyone doing? Excited to talk some hoops here.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. We got a lot to dive into, and I think we're gonna start off with our own very backyard, and that's Lakers basketball before we venture off into the NBA. Guys, the Lakers are now 7-4 after beating the Memphis Grizzlies at home to improve to 6-0. One of the better home records in the league. And I want to talk about it. What do you guys make of the Lakers season to start? What are the biggest takeaways? And I'm gonna start with my guy Eddie.
Oh man, if you told me in the middle of the year that the Lakers would be 7-4 after 11 games, I'd say like, shut up, man. That's not happening. So you know what, like JJ is doing, I won't say wonders because there are some stuff that I still dislike.
Right.
He's a proper coach. He's a proper coach, you know, like he knows his way around basketball, and he's trying to extract the best of all of them.
Right.
And as you said in your previous videos, he didn't wait the whole season to bench Dillon out of the bed. You're not playing well. Let's change it up, you know. So I like this attitude, you know. Let's try and fix the problem.
Yeah.
And let's have that little fat above 500 so we can, like, you know, when the push comes to shove at the end of the season, we are comfortable. We don't make the play-in. We go straight to the playoffs, give some rest to the guys, you know. So I'm pretty excited. There are a lot of things that we need to fix still, like defense in transition and stuff like that. But like I couldn't ask for a better start, to be honest. Unless we were the Cavs.
Right, absolutely. You're right. Great start so far, especially at home. Big Q, what is your takeaway with the Lakers so far? What are your thoughts?
I like JJ Redick, kind of just like the passion that he brings. You know, he's really kind of brought some passion and some detail back to, you know, it seemed like we kind of lost the life, you know, after we won the in-season tournament last year. You know, they just kind of lost the luster for the rest of the season. And, you know, you always talked about it, Dan, Darwinham with his hands in his pocket and all that type of stuff. But this year, you know, I mean, he knows when to call timeouts. You know, you see him yelling at everybody. He's talking to the refs like he's really, really engaged in the games. So I like that. Obviously, that's going to keep the team and all the players engaged. We got to figure out what's going on the road. Seems like we cannot win on the road, so I don't know what the heck is going on there. But overall, it's still early. You know, they got tons of injuries. We still haven't been 100% healthy so far this year. But I like where we are, and you know, like my man said, we're 7-4. We're actually on the north side of the standings right now, not in the play-in tournament. So, you know, that it looks good so far. I mean, we really got to get some reinforcements. You know, Rob Pelinka got to come through because we need another big man. You know, and we're gonna have to go do something with D'Lo. I actually like D'Lo, but you know, all of you guys are killing him, and right now, yeah, we need somebody that's gonna play defense and bring something to the table for us.
All right, a great take right there. Yeah, D'Angelo Russell has struggled. I like him a lot better off the bench so far to start the season. I think we were lacking in that department, and it looks like you know, one swift move by JJ has us on a 3-game win streak right now. Raj, talk to me, man. What's your takeaway so far early this season?
Yeah, I mean, I love the 3-0 start, you know what I mean? And I think, we mentioned it that we went on the road and we had some struggles, the loss in Detroit, right? And then even if you look at some of our wins, like the win against Sacramento, LeBron really had to go nuclear to get that one. And D'Lo going to the bench, it's funny because I tweeted after, I think, media day or when it was, I was like, man, Cam Reddish is going to be a big part of this team. I think people need to be prepared for that. I got a lot of flack for, mentioning Cam because I think that's part of the reason even Darvin Ham was fired, right? Is because he was playing him over Max Christie, and now we're 10 games in, and Max Christie's already collecting DMPs. But I think Cam just brings a level of balance to that starting unit where it's a lot of offensive lenient players. You have Rui, you have Austin, obviously LeBron, becoming age 40. You need some defensive wingspan. You need some defensive athleticism. I worried about our foot speed. We're 26 in defense right now, and I think the offense is, hovering at a good pace. JJ was as advertised offensively. The sets, I believe, are beautiful. We have a lot of, like, if you listen to JJ talk on any of the, on the mics that they pick up, he's always saying, like, let's stay organized. That's a word that he uses a lot. Let's stay organized on this end. I think what he means by that is, like, stay in our sets. So the offense I have no issue with. The defense, I'm a little concerned. A lot on the back, a lot on the shoulders of Anthony Davis. Jackson Hayes is now hurt, which, like, brings Christian Coloco into the mix, which
Right.
I thought he played okay last night. But that's a little bit my concern. But yeah, hovering over 500 again. I think this team kind of has to hover at that top 4 seed, and then we'll see if this front office does anything at the trade deadline. They're definitely not investing assets into a team that's on the play-in territory trajectory. So I think that's kind of where they need to stay at. But it's a good start. LeBron looks awesome. Took over again the night before. Anthony Davis, I believe, has been the MVP. Your 2 stars are still getting it done, and we've kind of handed the keys of this Lamborghini to Austin Reaves, and we're like, hey, here's your offense now.
Yep.
Go run it. And he's averaging, I think, like 24 and 7, in his 3 starts. So it's been a good start for the team. Hopefully their defense picks up.
It feels good, doesn't it? You're absolutely right, Raj. It's been a great start. I like the adjustments. Everything that so far you guys have mentioned is on point. Redick, I think, has been the biggest star for me this young Lakers season because you can tell he's very poised and very focused to solve the Lakers issues. Yes, right now we're bottom 25, right? I think you mentioned 26th, but we're top 5 in offense. And the half-court sets, which is something where we were lacking in both in the Darvin Ham era and in the Frank Vogel era, right, with the half-court offense. A lot of times it felt like we would just hand the ball to LeBron and watch him play, make, or create for himself and others, or AD give the ball to him at the end of the shot clock. Now AD's getting it early, guys, and he's getting ready to operate, early in the shot clock, which gives him, I think it gives the team a lot more flexibility. And we're also doing a lot of off-ball movement stuff to get guys wide open, including our star players who, there's some nice little brush screens where they just kind of set the screen and then roll to the basket. I'm really enjoying all the different types of offensive schemes that JJ has mixed it up with. But I do have a question, guys, and I think I'll start with Big Q. Why do the Lakers look so much better at home, 6-0, versus on the road where they're 1-5? Like, what do you guys attribute to that? What do you guys think they could be?
You would actually think that we were some type of young ball club, right? Because usually the younger ball clubs struggle on the road, as would you would think the veteran squad like we have would do better. I'm not sure. I heard Brian after the game last night say that they really putting an emphasis on trying to protect home, which they definitely did not do last year. Because if they would have won quite a few games last year at home, then we would have been that 5 or 6 seed. But I guess as of now, maybe just a little bit more attention to detail. Definitely you could see the rookie, he playing a lot better at home. Man, I'm super excited about him, man. He played really good last night. But I don't know. I guess it's probably just a little bit more attention to detail and just kind of feeding off the crowd, But as we know, for them to be a good team, what we expect them to be and what they should be, they're going to have to do better on the road for sure.
For sure. To be an elite team in this league, you have to win, especially the road games versus teams like the Detroit Pistons. Like, those are games where I expected the Lakers to win this season. I know we dropped a lot of those last year, and it ended up kind of biting us in the standings, and we had to go through the play-in tournament again. Eddie, let me ask you this, bro. As far as Vanderbilt, how much of the defensive issues you think plugging him back in, assuming he's healthy, is going to fix?
A lot. because he's a better defender if healthy. If we get that first year Vando, he's a better defender than Cam Reddish, so you can plug him in, and he's a better defender than Rui as well. He brings size, rebounding. He's not as like a weapon offensively like Rui, but we have LeBron, Reaves, and AD to do that, right? And if you plug him there, I believe we can be like at least mid, like top 15 defensively, and still be top 10 offensively. So I'll prefer to have Vando if healthy instead of Rui, because Rui, he shows up and then 2-3 games is like below average, and then he shows up again. So I don't know how much of that was due with the sickness, or it's just like his mindset. I just want to touch back as well the question that you asked BQ in regards to the home court and away games. Yes, we did drop the game against Detroit, but let's be honest, that was the only game that we actually dropped. Against the Suns was like anyone could win that one. It was a back and forth. Against the Cavs, man, they didn't lose to anyone.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, and because we didn't have AD, so I'm not giving excuses, but they are understandable losses, right?
Yeah.
So therefore, I feel like let's not panic yet.
Oh, absolutely.
Let's not panic yet. You know, I hate when somebody says like it's just the beginning of the season, but in this case, those losses, they were not losses like against Detroit. That one is inexcusable. I feel like they entered the game, they came into the game, think they already won. That's not the mentality I believe that a championship team should have. So just to touch back, I don't want to like keep going on, but like just to touch back my piece about that.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely correct. It is early in the season. I know it sounds like a cliche, but it's really early. We also have to factor in, the fact that we have a brand new head coaching staff, not just a coach, but an entire brand new staff. And guys are trying to learn new schemes and everything right now. So, of course, I'm actually very pleasantly surprised with the way we started, especially at the first 3 games. We looked like a complete different ball club. Raj, I got to ask you this, man. Who has been the Laker that has disappointed you the most to start this year, where you had some expectations for them?
Yeah, I mean, I think the answer here has to be Max Christie. I think that was the guy that everyone expected, would play. And I think even the Lakers invested, right? They gave him 4 years, $32 million, really invested in his development. And I think if you ask most Laker fans how many games Max Christie played last year, they wouldn't know how many. Like, he actually played 67 games a year ago. Now it was around 15 to 18 minutes, and you can kind of quibble with, the spots he was in. But that's enough time to me where he should be more up to speed than he has been. And, I said before the season, I don't think this Laker team goes anywhere if Max Christie's not a player that's contributing. Like, I just look at the team. I look at the athletes on it. Eddie brought up Vanderbilt. I'm not sure that's a real person right now. Like, I think the Lakers should, like, kind of approach as if he's not. I'm just being real. The updates coming out are very dark. And Vanderbilt's a player that that comes in is a very much an energy guy, which means he's going to run up and down, go 300 miles per hour, and that's a player that's very much can cause for injury. So I think the Lakers need to move forward as if he's not coming back. Christian Wood in the same boat, but Max Christie to me the guy, and then the other guy like that makes me sad is Gabe Vincent. I remember when we signed him. And obviously the playoff run is now joked about, right? His run in Miami, but that was a player like I was worried about his shot selection. And now it's on the other end of the spectrum where like I'm worried he won't shoot. You know what I mean? It's just a sad player that's devolved into like a guy who's obviously lost any offensive confidence. He's being told, I can tell every time he goes to the bench, they're telling him to shoot, and he just doesn't want to. Every shot that goes up, he's aiming it instead of shooting it. You know what I mean? Like you could tell his confidence is all gone. But those two to me are the like strongest of disappointments. Max Christie has to earn his spot back, and I just don't know where that's coming from. Cam Reddish is 3-0 in his starts. He looks a lot more controlled under JJ's kind of system. They're giving him less ball handling duties, right? So a lot of his stuff is coming off cuts, a lot of off screens, off pins. And it's like, that's a player that's very helpful if Max can't figure it out. But those are the two for me that I have as sad disappointments to start the year.
Okay. You know what, Raj? You surprised me right there when you said the Vando comment about how he shouldn't exist to us anymore. I think a lot of Laker fans still have him high in our regards as far as what he's accomplished since he's gotten here when he's healthy. But you're right about that. Your best ability is your availability, right? And right now, you're right. We should approach it as if he's not even a part of the roster because our bench is one of the worst in the league, you know, and that's unfortunate. And you're right about Max Christie. Definitely one of the most disappointing. I won't say he's my personal most disappointing. I'm going to let the guys get off, and that's a great take right there, Raj. I'm going to let Eddie give me your most disappointing Laker of the season. I think I know who it is, but I might be wrong.
It's Gabe Vincent, man. I can't lie. It's Gabe Vincent. Like Max Christie's dead as well, but he has a ceiling. You know, we've seen sparks. I think the moment got too big for him. You know, the pressure. I think it's a mental as well. But Gabe Vincent, we are paying him still another year, $11 million. It's a sport, you know, and it's not just that. Like if he was trash in the offense and the shot selection, but like you see his stats, just donuts. It's zeros. Like no rebounds, no. I know he's the smallest guy on court usually,
right.
But like no rebounds, no assists, and he's a point guard, but he doesn't create. So I don't know. Like if Max improved like 10%, I think he takes his spot because at least defensively he can do something. He brings size. So yeah, it's Gabe for me.
Wow. You know, again, I'm very shocked that a name hasn't come up yet, but I'm glad you guys are leaving him for me. I'm going to dissect a little bit more. But Gabe Vincent is a great option. I mean, for most disappointing, he's averaging, to add to your point, Eddie, 2.9 points, 0.8 rebounds, half of an assist, and he's shooting 27% from the field. So that's definitely a great selection for most disappointing, as well as one of Raj's picks. Q, bring us home, man. Come on. I know you got it in you.
Well, I'm gonna still go ahead and leave him up to you. But you know, I went to the game last night.
Yeah.
And it's Gabe. He what did he shoot? Like 5 or 6 wide open threes, and he didn't hit any of them. And then the part that like really kind of put an exclamation point on it was he missed a couple of threes, and Jaren Jackson in transition pulled up and hit threes. And then one of the threes he missed, I think we got the offensive rebound, and then Austin Reaves did a crossover and a step back three and made it, but Gabe Vincent wide open couldn't make the three. But then even more disappointing to me, what we were sold on when they signed him was he was supposed to be also this really good defender.
Yes.
Like Eddie said, part of being a good defensive player is boxing out, getting rebounds. I mean, he's like getting manhandled. So like I said, last night, I literally had a front row seat to see this. And I'm just like, you know, like I said, I'm not going to get on D'Lo. I'm going to let you handle him. But D'Lo, he's been all over the place since he's been a Laker, since he's been a rookie. He's been real good. And then he, you know, does a bunch of silly stuff. But Gabe Vincent, man, leads, you know, Miami to, you know, they had lost with Tyler Hero that year or whatever. He starred in that finals, right? It's like, oh my God, we get this guy $33 million on a mid-level. And literally, I had this conversation with my son at the game last night. He has done nothing since he's been in a Laker uniform. Nothing. So I literally would rather probably him had been on the bench, gave Christie or Coloco or one of those guys more time last night, because to me, I think when we lost a little bit more of our momentum last night in the third quarter, he was in the game, you know, and we couldn't score. We couldn't defend.
No, absolutely. Gabe has been, I agree with you guys. I don't disagree. Gabe Vincent has been a monumental disappointment because of what he did in Miami before he came to the Lakers. That's the reason why. If you look back at that run they had all the way to the finals, from a play-in tournament team all the way to the finals in Miami, you could argue that Gabe Vincent was the third best player on that roster after Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo at times, right? And so, you know, he goes from that to bottom feeder. Like I said, the stats just not matching up, and it's unfortunate. All right, Tyrone says, Dan, would you trade D'Lo for some Gatorade? Tyrone, appreciate you, man. Thanks for the super chat. I'm gonna get into D'Lo right now because I'm surprised nobody mentioned his name. And the reason he's my number one pick for the biggest disappointment is because from the moment we traded for him and he came in here and he kind of, him, Vando, and Malik Beasley to a certain extent kind of changed the culture of of where this team was headed in the wrong direction when we had Russell Westbrook. And he came in with the right attitude. He came in extremely positive. He was excited to play alongside LeBron James. You guys remember one of his favorite players, LeBron James. He came in hitting, I wouldn't say game winners, but he hit some clutch shots for us. In fourth quarters, his first season with us back, and he made I'd say a medium impact in the playoffs that year. Fast forward to now, and even last playoffs, he completely disappears. Right, I already wanted him traded before the trade deadline last season because he started off the year bad for Darvin, and now he's doing it again. He's sulking. Right, there was a clip that was going viral of him seemingly disgruntled on the sidelines. I'm assuming it's because he's coming off the bench. Okay, but he talked about it in his podcast. He has no ego and this and that, and I think at this point, actions speak louder than words. For me, the biggest disappointment isn't the fact that he's putting up a career low, 12 points per game or something like that, 11. To me, the disappointment is his attitude. I don't feel like he's buying in. Since training camp, they asked him who the most impressive player was. He said himself. He didn't look good in training camp. He didn't look good in preseason, and I feel like that the attitude issues from the Russells always are carrying over to the regular season, and to me, causing a distraction. Now I'm at the point where I love D'Angelo because we drafted him. He's a baby Laker. We have ties to him, but I think it's better for both parties if we find a trade involving his name. And the sad part is there doesn't seem to be a lot of interest for him because apparently the Lakers are getting rebutted in trade conversations. And so again, for me, it's D'Angelo Russell. And it's not the production, which is already disappointment. It's his attitude. And I don't feel like that fits a winning type of program that JJ Redick is trying to build, right? So that's why he's my biggest disappointment, guys. Now, I do want to talk about a young player that has impressed everybody, and that is Dalton Knecht, right? 17th pick in the NBA draft. Falls in the Lakers' lap due to his age, and I never understand that. You would think that NBA teams want to draft NBA-ready players. They want projects who have higher ceilings. Let's start with Raj. Raj, what is your takeaway on Dalton Knecht? What do you think his ceiling can become for the Lakers?
Yeah, no, he looked awesome last night. And I've been kind of proposing for him to play more. The vets ahead of him just aren't good enough to me for him to lose minutes. JJ was doing this thing where he was not allowed to play first and third quarters, right? So he was playing like the second and fourth, and it was really kind of minimizing the amount of minutes he can play. That dude can score. Like, I know he's being sold as a shooter, but that dude can legit get baskets from all over. His like second bucket was this turnaround pirouette off one leg that like went in, super clean. You could tell he's comfortable off that. Super score coming out of Tennessee, obviously. And it's funny because Tim, I don't know if you guys watched the ESPN broadcast. I know you were at the game, but on ESPN, Tim Legler was the color commentator, and I think he's cut from a similar cloth of JJ. Not as psycho, not as much of a psycho, but definitely in the shooter cloth lane. And he's just waxing poetic about Dalton's kind of footwork and ability to come off screens. Every single sideline out of bounds play that we play, or even ATO, is pretty much for Dalton. And like we did the same thing with Malik Beasley. It's kind of like when you have a shooter, that's kind of your entry point into an offensive attack. And we do that with Dalton a lot. And his first shot was a banking three. And it was very much like, I don't care what the defense is doing, you're taking the shot. He came off, he was not open. The defender was not in a drop. They were, at the level of the screen, and he still went and banked it in. It's funny because you did the whole D'Lo, expression there, and there was this like moment in the game where Dalton and D'Lo were in together. I believe in the third quarter, and D'Lo got benched after this. But the like energy gap between Dalton and D'Lo was just striking while they were on the floor, right? Because Dalton has his like head on fire, running around. You could see D'Lo in this lackadaisical mode that he gets in, right? And I don't think it's conscious. I think it's a subconscious thing he does when he's not engaged in the game. And LeBron gave him this look like, he had the layup at the rim that he missed. And like you compare that to Dalton, and Dalton's like running around like his life is on the line, right? It's just funny to watch. But no, Dalton looked great, man. Looks like the steal. Rob Pelinka's very lucky. That's a pick that he hit on. That's one of the wins he can put on his belt. Dalton looks legit, and I think JJ is going to give him every chance he can to like see what else he can contribute. But 6 for 6, I believe he started last night. 4 threes, all of them of different variety, not just open ones, in transition, off screens, off handoffs. That dude's a freaking bucket. I think the Lakers got one.
Absolutely. Great take. I like to break down how you compared the energies between D'Lo and Dalton right there, man.
It was loud, man.
Yeah, very detail oriented. Appreciate it, Raj. As far as you're right about Dalton, I think he was 7 for 8 overall from the field, which is impressive for a rookie in itself, and 5 for 5 from beyond the arc. Okay, so Dalton Knecht has this thing when he shoots it, I feel like it's always going in, even when it doesn't. Like he just has a pure stroke. The form is beautiful. He squares up really well. Like you mentioned on Twitter, the footwork is amazing for a rookie. Like this kid,
Yeah.
He honestly, and the question was what his ceiling was. He reminds me of a prime Klay Thompson in the making. Like I really feel like he could be that type of player, man. I like, and his defense isn't so bad. I've seen him make rookie mistakes along the course of the season so far early on, but he's a rookie. But his defensive instincts are there. You know, his competitive fire, like you already mentioned, is there. And most importantly, he's wired, man. He's fearless. You see that he has that look in his eye. When I saw the first 2 threes going on, I was live on playback with my guy KJ and Die Hard, and I told him, he's about to go off. You know, he tasted the net a couple of times. He just has that look in his eyes. Like since Tennessee, right? He's been a killer. And yeah, to me, that's my ceiling. I want to ask you, Ed, what do you think Dalton Knecht's ceiling will be with the Lakers, with this team?
Man, for this year, I think like he'll be like our top scorer out of the bench. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But for his career and hopefully his I think he has that hunger. I think he came from community college or JUCO, something like that.
Yeah.
Second division, something like that. He was not high qualified like recruit or anything. So he's that guy that he's humble but he's hungry. You know, like he fights for his spot. So I think he's perfect for the Lakers culture, Lakers Nation, because we want guys that will fight for every ball, that will not like D'Lo, like seems lazy on court. You know what I mean? So he's gonna be like, I think he's gonna be like a really good scorer for us. In the defense side, I'm not too worried about because he's a rookie, as you said. He can develop. Especially if you put like the white people around him, like right mentors, coaches, so he can develop well.
Right.
But for next year, he might be a starter. We never know, right? We don't know what's going to happen in the trade deadline, So I think his minutes will go up, and if we make the playoffs, like that's looking like we're going to do, I believe he's going to be in the rotation. I believe he's going to be in the rotation. I believe he's going to be an important piece, what Max Christie is supposed to be, as Raj said. So I believe he's going to be that piece. I'm not saying Max we won't be, but I believe he's going in the right direction. He reminds me of Austin Reaves' rookie year, in a way. Like the eye of the tiger, you know what I mean? The eye of the tiger. He wants to win. He hates losing. So because usually you see this type of thing, this type of instinct with guys that has something to prove. And his whole career, he has something to prove. Austin was an undrafted guy. He had something to prove. So this type of mentality, this type of instinct, it's like you cannot teach, right? You have in you. So I believe, as Raj said, Rob Pelinka did a really good job in this draft, and I think he was a great pick. And some us last year, some people that were ahead of us will be soaking after, like we let that guy pass.
Right. Absolutely. You know what? It was destiny if you think about it, because we could have lost that pick to the Pelicans. They could have opted to keep the pick last season, right? So that happened, and then all of the teams that drafted before us were looking for young, potential, talented pieces. So I think we really lucked out to get this guy, man. It had to be. It was a stroke of genius from the man upstairs. Big Q, talk to me, man. What is your same question? Ceiling for Dalton?
So I got a comparison for you. Not sure if any of you guys are old enough to ever seen him play, but Rex Chapman. So Rex Chapman was a fearless player, played solid defense, and could get on a heater. And I'll just say that I think that's a gift from God, dude. Truly, it's like players to get like stupid hot. Like we saw it in the
preseason,
in that preseason game. And then last night, for whatever reason, after he hit those 3 in a row, once Memphis called the timeout, they stuck him in a corner and they didn't move him around anymore. And one of you guys talked about it earlier about the movement. That is what I thought would really separate him, and especially JJ being the coach, is like having him get those back picks, having him continue to move from side to side and on those wings and keep getting those open shots. So I was super disappointed not to see that, but I just see that like fearless, the defense, he likes to crash the boards. And then the other thing that I liked about Rex Chapman, and you guys probably got to look it up, but Rex Chapman went to the I think he went to the dunk contest one year, but he was like a sneaky athletic. And Dalton Knecht, I think last night he tried to dunk on somebody too, and it got blocked. But it's like he has that sneaky athleticism that it's like you don't think he's coming, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, okay, you're really trying to get there, okay. But I mean, I just really like just the energy that he plays with, and like he always really seems to be under control. Like you guys say, he's gonna make those rookie mistakes, but he's just not doing a bunch of just like stupid things, He's being really mindful of the things, and he's very intentional. Once he gets the rock, like he knows. Oh, and then one that surprised me was when he threw that lob to Koloko in the on the fast break, because I didn't know what he was about to do, and then all of a sudden I was like, oh, okay, you got a little vision too. So I think the ceiling for him probably will be possibly an all-star. Like if he continues to trend, in that direction, he could be an all-star. But like Eddie alluded to, I think he can be a really solid contributor, for the Lakers for years to come. Maybe that 15, 16, 17 points a game, and that guy that when you need a bucket, like he can come get a bucket.
You know what, man? That's a great comparison. Rex Chapman, he took it all the way back with that one, man. I love it. My guy said D'Lo, Rui Vando, and seconds for Levine and Torrey Craig.
I want nothing to do with Levine. He's a great talent, but injury prone, and that contract, no.
Well, look, man. If you're paying attention to Austin Reaves, he hasn't hit his peak yet, man. He continues to ascend every year. If you look at his stats, his numbers keep getting better and better. And this year, with D'Lo now hitting the pine, like Raj alluded to it earlier, his numbers are better. What you mentioned, 24 points a game since D'Lo went to the pine. I wouldn't touch it. I think we have a big three. And remember, Big Q and Eddie were with me when I've always been high on Austin Reaves, because I always saw from his rookie season he had a killer mindset, and I knew one day he would be a part of the big three. And now look at him. And again, credit to the coaching staff, because they're empowering him. They're letting him do more ball handling. What's your breakdown, Raj, on Austin Reaves so far? What are your thoughts on him?
It's funny because, I just listened to you guys talk about Dalton, and last night was the first time he closed. And again, I spoke out, he was consistently playing with bench units. But that Austin Dalton backcourt is kind of interesting. Both of them super frisky, both of them very much into contact. Dalton doesn't shy away from, physical contact, not only at the rim, but Big Q, you mentioned on rebounds as well. He's a guy that'll get in there and mess it up. He'll go and box out a big guy. He tried to dunk on Jay Huff, Laker on Laker crime. And Jay Huff got the block, but like I like the intensity of that. And yeah, Austin just looks. I think he's the best Laker young player we've had in the last decade, and I don't know if that's like it's. I think him and Ingram are right there. Like I don't know what you guys think of Brandon Ingram, but like if I believe if the Pelicans called Rob Pelinka today and said you can have Brandon Ingram from Austin Reaves, I think they declined that. Like
wow, okay,
I don't know. I don't know. Like that's this. He's averaging 19 and 6 and 4. There's only 2 teammates in the league right now that are averaging over 18, 6 and 4. It's LeBron and Austin on the Lakers, and it's Dame and Giannis on the Bucks. So there's only 2 teammates that average that. I think Austin's numbers will go up. It's funny too, because like again, this happened so many times now during his career. But so there's LeBron on the floor, there's AD on the floor, and the ball goes to Austin Reaves in clutch time. Like that's our crunch time guy.
Yep.
And I think the reasoning for that is because high free throw rate, high free throw percentage, and a 3-level off the bounce score like that. And then you put LeBron and AD around that. It's a really tough guard. JJ's found super cool actions out of their horn set where it's like all 3 of them involved together, screening for each other. But I think the ceiling's like, there's no real ceiling yet. Again, unathletic guards, there's some point that you can get to. But I think Austin still has a lot to go. And I believe he believes he's a starting point guard. which is why I think this D'Lo move has come. And, they've started Cam Reddish, who's a placeholder for whoever they get. But Austin's like been handed the keys, like I said earlier, and the car's driving well, hasn't crashed yet. The keys started against Memphis in the playoffs 2 years ago. I think Austin's like, I can drive this car. Like D'Lo can sit in the back seat, and drive when I'm tired. But I think like that's kind of how he's looking at it. And again, another clutch 3 last night. I think he's at like 37% on 3 for the season. And you could tell I think like his legs too, he has it because he doesn't have to guard the other team's best perimeter defender. Cam Reddish can take that now. Just a lot of things I think that are in Austin's favor going forward. He looks great to start the year.
And to add to your point, great points, Raj. To add to your point about Austin Reaves, he didn't always have the green light. He was a very efficient player his first 2 years. And, JJ Redick came in here, and it looks like everybody can pull up from 3 whenever they want. It's definitely impacting our guy, our favorite, our MVP candidate, Anthony Davis. Even he's pulling up with more confidence because he's not getting the ball late in the shot clock, right? He's able to operate from the elbow on down or on out. We're spacing the floor better as a result, and we're taking more shots per game. And Austin Reaves, I think, is a huge beneficiary because I think right now he's averaging around 13 shot attempts per game, which is pretty high for a player who's on the same team as AD and LeBron James. More than 10 shots is pretty hard to do when you're on a team with both those guys. So I've been extremely impressed. And my favorite thing about Austin, and I don't understand why he gets a lot of hate. Like my guy Algorithm C said, Austin Reaves will phase out slowly like Jordan Clarkson did. First and foremost, Jordan Clarkson was really nice with the Lakers, but he was more of a combo guard scoring type, while Austin Reaves is a playmaker, 3-level scorer. And it's not for lack of defense. He tries defensively. Remember his rookie season, he took tons of charges. So he has very high basketball IQ, great footwork. I love his craftiness. He reminds me a little bit of Steve Nash when he gets in those lanes, the way he's able to pin the offensive player on his hip and draw the foul and speed up and slow down. Those are things you don't just teach. Those are natural abilities that Austin has. And I think people really take him for granted. I've seen a lot of Laker fans instantly wanting to ship him off. See, my guy said that Ingram would be better than Austin. He wouldn't be a better fit because remember, Brandon needs the ball in his hands, and Austin can play off ball as well. So he definitely would not be a better fit on the Lakers.
Ingram's always hurt. Ingram's always hurt.
Right? So there is that factor. But all in all, guys, I got to say I'm beyond impressed with Austin's start, and I hope he can sustain it for the rest of the season. And that way he can shut down some of those critics. But we finally got a big 3. Remember, we wanted a big 3 since Kyle Kuzma. Even Kyle Kuzma, as much as I loved him, couldn't be as efficient as Austin has become on this unit, right? And so again, let's not take talent like this for granted. Again, undrafted, he's an overachiever for sure. Talking about overachievers, guys, and this is gonna be my last Laker question because we got to move on to other stuff before the show ends. But it's interesting. I mean, we got my guy Raj here, man, and I got to ask you, Raj. Let's do a 2-part question. I got to ask you, bro. What do you see in the G League? You're covering in the front lines, man. What do you see in the G League from our guy Quincy Oliveri? Because a lot of Laker fans are intrigued by that kid.
Yeah, so honestly, like obviously all the lights are on Bronny because of all the attention. Quincy Oliveri is a star, though, at least on the floor. Like Quincy is an absolute star. That dude's I believe he can play right now in the league if like he got his chance. I don't think he will just because we're so guard heavy. But Quincy can really shoot it. I think he shot like 44% from 3 coming out of Xavier. And then his first game, with South Bay, he took 11 threes. I think he made 6 of them. Got fouled on 2 3-point shots as well. Super crafty on the ball guard that can also like spot up and come off screens. They run all the same actions in South Bay as they do, with the Lakers as well. So he's coming off all the stuff that we run for Dalton. We run for him in South Bay. Quincy looks like an absolute bucket. Again, if he was like 6'6", I think he would have been drafted, but since he's like 6'2", 6'3", he's listed as a small guard. And just a great guy to talk to as well. I got to talk to him post game. Just a really cool story coming out. No, Quincy's a star, man. At least like his personality. Why I shook the hands of every media player before talking. Like an absolute personality that's already there. It's just if the game can match it, and I think he will. Koloko also played. Armel Traore, who's a 2-way guy as well, is on the team that is up with the Lakers because they need size. But yeah, Quincy's the star. While Bronny kind of figures it out. I hope people tune into those games because Quincy's a real real prospect. I would like to see you get a chance with the Big Cup too, especially with how Gabe Vincent's playing. Like the bar is so low, right? Like in terms of what guard play you can bring. And I think, and Quincy's also, like he's talked about, he picks up 94 feet. He's not a great defender, but he's a guy that at least defends. He tries to defend his position. But yeah, he's a really cool guy that I think Laker fans should follow.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You know what? We're already fans, right? Big Q and Eddie, we're already big fans of Quincy. The kid is humble, man. You know,
yeah,
he's kind of one of those great stories that I think if he gets a legitimate shot, we're going to look back and say, it reminds me a little bit of Jeremy Lin. You know, how Jeremy Lin became very loved and endeared around the league after, you know, fighting and clawing for his opportunity. I hope this kid doesn't have to go through the same type of path, right? I hope he can get a quicker opportunity because, like you said, Gabe Vincent, the bar is really low. Why not? And another thing I wanted to mention, now that you mentioned that, the only criticism I have for JJ Redick is his 9-man rotation. I want that to be 10 to 11 during the regular season at least. I understand 9-man during the playoffs, but for longevity purposes and just to keep guys like LeBron and AD fresh, I need to see a 10-man rotation. And I hope that, I know JJ is probably very stubborn and he's going to stick to the script, but I hope when Vando comes back, we can at least make it a 10-man rotation. Right, guys? Anybody can chime in here. What are you guys' thoughts on the 9-man rotation?
Like you said, it probably will suit us better, especially with an older team, you know, doing that later in the season and to the playoffs. You know, but what strikes me is when we're struggling, you know, you need to bring somebody else off the bench to kind of, you know, invigorate the team, you know, bring some more energy. And, you know, and especially so early in the season and like trying to be so stubborn and stick with your guns, this is the opportunity now to kind of experiment a little bit more and bring some of those other guys, you know. So that probably is a little bit more disappointing. And, you know, without AD and without LeBron, like no matter what happens, like those we're gonna be in big trouble. So we cannot, you know, overplay them like the way that Darvin Ham did.
Facts, absolutely. I think there's a lot of negative implications that could come from having a 9-man rotation. I thought when JJ first said it in training camp was because he was trying to get guys motivated to earn one of these limited spots, but he actually meant it. So far he has been on point with everything he said. He's very upfront, so I do respect that about him, right? Thoughts? Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say that the 82 game like season is a grind, and I think like what you do within that is separate from the playoffs, and then you add LeBron's age to it, which is just unprecedented. Like the stuff you have to do in the regular season is different. Usually injuries for an NBA team, most of them, especially with the injuries that pop up, you guys have seen around the league, stars getting hurt, you know, left and right. Injuries kind of dictate your rotation anyway, right? So I think like the 9-man rotation isn't as stagnant as JJ's making it. That's really the amount of NBA rotation level players we have, right? I mean, Jackson Hayes gets hurt and we're in fire alarm 911 mode, which it shouldn't be the case. Jackson Hayes isn't really that type of talent. It's just a roster we had. If you look at the bottom 4 of the roster, JHS, these are like rostered guys. I'm not talking about two ways. JHS, you know, Bronny, Maxwell Lewis, you know, these are players that aren't NBA players, and these are taking up roster positions, which like you take that down to your roster. So I think that's more where the 9-man is coming from than like JJ being stagnant of, I'm not playing this talented dude because I'm going to 9 guys. I think it's more like, these are the 9 guys I trust, you know what I mean, to actually play basketball. And one of them already taken out, Max Christie already taken out of the rotation 10 games in. So that shortens you to even more. Jackson Hayes, you just spoke about it. Vanderbilt and Wood were both players that I think were thought of in the 9-man rotation, both out as well. Shrinks your roster of the available guys you have.
Yeah, you're right. And that's another thing I didn't think of. Good point. That's, you know, we have 2 guys that really should stay in the G League, and Bronny and the other one,
Maxwell Lewis.
And Maxwell Lewis and Jalen Hood-Schifino.
And JHS, yeah.
All those guys seem very underdeveloped, and they don't seem like NBA talents as of right now. So
they're not.
You know, and it's really that 9-man rotation now looks more like an 8-man, you know, if you factor that in. And, you know, so you're right about that. And it almost like this roster is begging for trade. We've been saying it since the summer, right? It feels that way. And hopefully come December, when more contracts become available, maybe there'll be more opportunities for the Lakers to do something. But right now it's looking really dim in the front court line, and it's disappointing. City Lights, appreciate you, man. Hey, a lot more music coming, my guy. I'm glad you liked it. Definitely hit me on my email with your stuff. I'd love to listen, man, always. Appreciate the super chat, my guy. All right. We talked Lakers, and we obviously we cannot get off the subject without bringing up LeBron James. Okay. King James, man. What can we say? Year 22, guys. He's damn near 40. Last 4 games, 28.5 points per game, 12.3 assists, 10.3 rebounds, shooting 58% from the field and 48% from beyond the arc. What the hell? When is this man going to slow down? I really thought Father Time had came the way the season started, but I was a fool because if you think about it, every single NBA season lately, LeBron starts off slow and starts ramping it up and starts ramping it up. Next thing you know, he's in MVP conversations. When do you guys think he's going to retire? When will he slow down? Anybody can chime in on it. Go ahead.
I think he has one more year in him. Maybe
One
next
more?
year. I think so. And then he'll call quits. I don't think he's gonna wait for Bryce.
Wow. Okay. Fighting words. Fighting words. You don't think he'll wait for? Hey, but LeBron is full of surprises, man. What if Bryce tells him, "Dad, I'm trying to get in the league. Do what you did for Bronny for me." You know, like, are you gonna cringe, Raj, if anything like that happens?
Yeah, I was watching last night, and obviously that was a game, again, middle of November. Doesn't really matter in a larger scale in terms of the games LeBron has played. And they zoom in, ESPN zooms into LeBron's face, and he's like clenching his jaw. And I'm just wondering where he's getting like the motivation. Like, doesn't need the money, doesn't need the accolades.
Oh,
To
answer your question right there. I know where you got the motivation from. That was Memphis calling him an old man the other night when they beat us, man. That was Desmond Bain.
Yeah, I guess maybe, but I mean, LeBron's like has been in so many little feuds like that. Like, I can't imagine that brushes him anymore like it used to, you know. And like another ring probably doesn't put him above Jordan and whoever has Jordan above him. So I'm always like thinking, what's the motivation? And it's just psychotic competitiveness that, you know, the Lakers are lucky he still has. Again, like last night, it could be, and I think this will happen throughout the season where LeBron sees a game and goes, I'm just not putting my foot on the pedal. It's right. Like, I think that's what happened in Detroit. Lakers got down 15-16 early. LeBron's like, I'm not helping you guys. I'm not putting my foot on this pedal to like beat the Pistons in November or October, whenever that was. But yeah, it's amazing to watch. Again, just gets to the rim whenever he wants to. Jumper has, you know, this is the best his jumper has been in year 22, which is an incredible saying to put out there. But yeah, he just looks awesome. I'm not worried about him at all. I think he knows how to load manage himself to get to where the Lakers want to go. But yeah, no words to describe LeBron anymore.
Yeah, it's pretty insane, man. And I think that will be his argument to claim to GOAT, right? The longevity. Nobody's even in the conversation when you talk about that. You know, of course, he'll never be my GOAT. My GOAT is, I'm a Kobe guy for life, but I respect greatness, and I can't. The game isn't ready to lose LeBron yet, and I don't think it'll ever be when the time comes. But wow, 22-year career and counting, and it sounds like there was a report earlier today. It sounds like next year, to Eddie's point, maybe his last, maybe, because he's saying, you know, he doesn't want to disrespect the game, and you know, he doesn't want to be one of these players that are laboring out here and just dragging the game along. He wants to leave it in his high horse. So I respect that, guys, and very impressive by LeBron James.
Hot take here.
Yeah.
If we win a championship, I think he retires this year.
Ooh, I'd love that. Ooh, I'd love that.
He's giving up the $60 million next year. Ooh,
he's a billionaire, man. That's pocket change.
I know.
Hey, but hey, the richer they are, the greedier they get, man. I heard LeBron doesn't even pay for league pass, bro.
He's going to Hollywood. He's gonna be a movie star. You see, you watch it.
Yeah.
Something like that. You see.
Out, huh? Probably. I can see Space Jam. God forbid it, but I can see it happening.
Space Jam 3.
That last one.
Quick question. Then quick question to the panel. How good would be if we had Scottie Pippen Jr. right now instead of Gabe Vincent?
I'll let you guys answer this.
But you know what's funny is, like, so I was going to all the G League games last year as well, and you know, Scottie Pippen Jr. is a veteran South Bay. He's been in 2 years in that program. And Rob Pelinka was there in person to watch Bronny, and I'm just wondering how many games Rob Pelinka caught, because this is no surprise to me as a person who watched a lot of Scottie Pippen Jr. that dude was an absolute bucket. He would put up 35, 40 consistently, bunch of assists. And obviously, I think his height kind of impacted his opportunity in the league, but that dude can score and always could. It's just sad when I watch him and Jay Huff, both South Bay veterans over here that were in our backyard, Caruso in our backyard that obviously got a chance. But GP2 is another guy that was in our backyard that we let go, right? So all these like players that have come through our South Bay system, Pippen Jr. and Jay Huff are two more, that have got away from us.
Most definitely. Big Q knows how I felt about Scottie Pippen Jr. Remember that one time you were texting me when we were in the game?
Yep. I actually didn't like Scottie Pippen Jr. guys. Like I was just like, and Dan was like, he's like, Q, you're not paying attention, bro. And he's like, I'm telling you, dude. He was like, he just need to develop a little bit more, and he'll be ready. And I didn't believe it. And then last year, he kind of came to his own. Yep. So no, he definitely made me a believer now. Like he's just a really solid veteran player. Nice little backup point guard. So yeah.
The thing I liked about Scottie Pippen always, it was his motor, man. This guy was, his defensive motor, his energy. And I'm like, a player like that is going to stick somewhere. It reminds me of the point guard version of Stanley Johnson, somebody who's always in your face, taking away your space. And like my guy Raj said, I didn't watch him play in the G League, but the short moments I saw him and the hustle he had for the Lakers when he was getting garbage minutes, I said, man, I hope the Lakers hold on to this guy. Unfortunately, we've stuck with other guys instead. But I will say this, credit to the Lakers South Bay Laker team. They are the best of the best at developing young talent. The best of the best, man. All the guys that have come out of here, including Alex Caruso, the GOAT, the legend. It's like, wow, I hope we don't let go of Max, what's his name? Quincy
Maxwell Lewis.
And Maxwell Lewis. I'm high on him still. I haven't given up on him. So, those are the two guys to look for, for the future. All right. Guys, got to ask you guys a couple of around the NBA questions. It's just we had Raj here, he has a lot of experience with the Lakers, so I definitely wanted to, milk it a little bit more. But let's talk about Zion Williams really quick. Zion Williamson, in his career, he's played 190 games, all right? And he has missed 212. He's now missed more games than he has played, and counting, unfortunately. Is it time that we start labeling him a bust? Okay, and I'm gonna let anybody chime in now. No order.
I wouldn't label a bust just yet, because when he plays, he's good. But street clothes, like they used to OAD, maybe.
Wow. Okay. Street. we moving labels around here. I like it. And, the only reason I mentioned bust because if you guys remember, coming out of Duke University, he was the next LeBron according to everybody. He was the next great, and he has had minimal impact outside of, like you said, when he does play sometimes. But they really haven't become a winning franchise with him. He hasn't become the Thanos, the finger snapper that they thought he would be. Right?
He looks like the exact same player. Like even when he plays and when he plays well, he looks like the exact same player that came out of Duke. Right? Just no jump shot, all to the rim, and he's a monster. He shoots Shaq level percentages when he gets to the basket on flip shots. It's just I think he's. Again, I'm not a freak athlete, but like he just looks too heavy for me, like on the floor. And maybe that's just the weight that he's comfortable being at. But there were pictures of him. There were skinny Zion was a hashtag for a little while, and then we got to training camp and was like, oh, it's the exact same Zion. Just the photos looked a little better. I don't know how you build a team around a player like that. The Pelicans paid him a lot. There are stipulations in the contract for weight. I mean, I'm sure there are, but in any case, they're paying him a ton of money to be their franchise player. And getting around the BI Zion clunky fit, Zion's just never there. The report came out that he's 4 to 6 weeks away. I feel like he's in just this perpetual 4 to 6 week return program.
Yep.
And look, like you never know what happens when people come to the league, but Zion has kind of, I think this is kind of public as well with the stuff that's come out. They don't have to go and get into that here, but it seems like a guy that's very comfortable, where he's at in league status. And I'm not saying he's not trying to get back healthy, but it's a sad story because if you watch him at Duke, that was an absolute monster, that I was hoping came to us, right? We had the potential for a top pick that year. We got number 4, I believe, and then traded for AD that summer. But there were definitely, wishes of Zion on the Lakers for that summer, but it's sad to see what's happening.
Did we not? Sorry, Q. Did we not end up getting the 4th pick in that draft? I could have sworn.
Yes. We got the 4th pick. Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Q.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say, to me, he's like a second coming of like Blake Griffin. Like when he's on the court, I mean, a monster, right? Like pretty much unstoppable, but it's pretty much all athleticism. There really is no finesse, no really nice creatism, like it's nothing else other than just the big girth and that you can't stop me. And which unfortunately, like once his athleticism, because he's a freak athletically, but he's really only 6'4", 6'5", he's even a worse case, honestly, than Blake Griffin. But once that, too many injuries, especially to that lower region of the body, like I don't really know what he's gonna be able to give you, and like Raj said, he can't shoot, he really hasn't developed anything else in his game, but it's just like, no, I got to get healthy so I can over jump you and just bump you out of the way. But I mean, like I said, it's really not a lot of great value,
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Zion, like you guys all mentioned, great potential, just unfilled potential, unfortunately. Wemby, though, we want to talk about filled potential and exceeding expectations, and somebody we all saw coming since his overseas days. Victor Wembanyama just dropped 50 points last night in his 2nd year in the NBA after leading France to the gold medal game versus Team USA. By the way, only lost by single digits. Guys, what do you guys project Wemby's future to be in the next 5 years? Like, he's scary, man.
If he could stay healthy, he literally is the player that you would create, on 2K.
Yep.
Taller than everybody, can do everything, and literally unstoppable. And you can really see now his confidence is really, really starting to kind of pick up momentum, and man, he already, kind of could shoot and dribble a bit, but like now just even gaining more confidence and continuing to work on those skills. Yeah. And like you said, last night is kind of like a perfect example. And just the natural maturation of a human being is you get a little bit stronger and a little bit girthier as you get older. And so just think about it in the next 4 or 5 years on what he actually is going to bring to the team, to the league is just ridiculous.
This man had 8 3-pointers last night. 8 3-pointers from a 20-footer is insane. We've never seen a player like Wemby. I'd love to hear what you got to say about this guy, Raj.
Yeah, he spoke about his game, and I love the mindset. Like, he's a guy, and not to compare him to Zion, but like you just listen to the quotes from Wemby, and it's very much in the like, I don't want to just be good, I want to be like the best ever. That's the type of stuff he says. Like, we'll see if that translates to his game. But you see the 3-pointers. I think that's the thing that's been the largest conversation. But he's an absolute monster defender already, and this is year 2. He had a play that was going viral that I don't think got enough attention. Sabonis, who's a big girthy guy, gives AD problems, right? Even in the post. Sabonis pump faked. Wemby went for the pump, right? So he jumps. So Sabonis is like, I got him. Goes on to, he switches hands, and Wemby turns, flips, recovers in time to block it. And like, that is just a nasty defensive play. And the Spurs are just surrounding him with, older Chris Paul and talent that's not really up to his level yet. Because I think this is another year where it's just like, let's see what you are. Like, are you Kevin Durant that's 7'4", or like, what are you? We're just going to keep finding out, and we're not going to put a ceiling on that. That's why I see people getting upset at the 3-pointers. It's like, he just gets to go out and play basketball. There's no rigid, system yet that's being implemented. And yeah, it's just 50 points already. I think he's the youngest player ever to have 50. I believe that was the stat that came out. He's like 20 years old, led France to the bronze medal game, right? Already in the Olympics, already having a worldwide impact on basketball. And again, if you listen to him talk before the draft, like, he was not some dude's like, oh, I'm good at basketball, like, happy to be here. This was like a regimented system where like he was working on his sleep schedule at 16. You know what I mean? This has been a pro for a very, very long time. And he looks like a very durable guy so far. So yeah, there's no ceiling for Wembanyama. He breaks basketball right now. And he will just continue to break the boundaries of what we believe is possible on the floor.
We need to come up with a better nickname for him, man. Mr. Space Jams or something. He's not from this planet at all. I know they call him the alien.
Yeah,
but,
he's alien. Mm-hmm.
But man, this guy. Look, here's the crazy thing about Wemby, right? Is I remember going to see him for the first time at Staples Center. I was blessed enough to go and watch him play. He's the only player that I ever remember that got just as loud as cheers as LeBron James in our building. And that's how exciting of a player he is. I remember Austin Reaves getting the steal, thinking he had a breakaway layup, and Wemby coming from half court to block his shot at the rim. I couldn't believe it. I was beside myself. I was there live in person. Like his wingspan is, what is he averaging right now? Like 3-point-something blocks a game? Like
yeah.
What can we say about him, man? Eddie, you got anything to throw in there? In the Wemby?
Yeah, I have to issue an apology to Wemby because I remember coming to your show and saying I don't think he's gonna be that guy. He's too skinny. Once he gets Embiid and Jokic and Giannis, and he just proved me wrong, which I'm happy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's more basketball, more quality basketball. But
Absolutely.
like this guy, it's out of this world, man. Like he can do everything. He can handle the ball. He can rebound, block, 3-point shooter. Everything. I have no words for him. Like San Antonio got a really good guy there for the future. I don't know if he stays though. If they keep, because Popovich ways of training is a little bit different. Everybody shares the ball, but if he has ambitions to be MVP and everything, so he might choose to leave when the time comes. But who knows? I think he's gonna be the face of the NBA for the years to come.
Hey, man.
You'll be hard to take.
Big ups to you, bro, because I didn't even remember you said that about Wemby, but I do remember going back and forth with you on Wemby on that. Wemby has even exceeded my expectations. I was already high on him when he came in out of the draft. But wow, just a phenomenal talent. It's almost as if somebody took Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's DNA and Kevin Durant's DNA and fused it and said, here you go. Here you have it. You got Wemby. But all right, final question of the night, guys. Are you guys excited for the NBA Emirates Cup? That's coming up, starting for the Lakers on Friday. We already started it on Tuesday. That was a great game, by the way. Golden State versus Dallas. Did you guys catch that?
I did.
Yeah, it was a good
Great game.
Yeah. Steph Curry.
I can't even hate on him, bro. I can't even hate on him. How excited are you guys about this cover? Are you guys as excited as the NBA wants us to be, or is it still a gimmick to you guys? Year two.
Wouldn't say it's a gimmick, but especially I would say me, Dan, since the 80s, man, I've been watching all sports and we win championships. Like not cups and tournaments, like we win championships. So it was great, like LeBron said last year, to be the inaugural winners of it. So that's amazing. Bam, we got that, and then he got all the young rooks. What was it? 500,000 or something like that he got those.
I believe so. Yeah.
So so that was dope. But I think that it'll probably give you a little bit more exciting basketball. But to tickle my fancy, no. It's like okay, we'll try to go win the cup, but it's not like the playoffs or something like that. So I don't think it'll ever get to me like that, because we got how many championships we got, guys? 16 or 17? We got 17 now?
17,
right? Yeah, okay. We got 17 banners, sitting up there. So, that's what it's all about.
Absolutely. Agree.
I mean, the Emirates Cup's up there as well. Like it's hanging from our banner. No, I'm with you though. I think so the Lakers won it last year, obviously, and then fizzled out in the first round. I think the winner of the cup has to have some playoff success for it to, jump where I think the league wants it to, right? For the Lakers to bow out so early. And then the Indiana Pacers had a good season. You could say injuries kind of helped their wins in the playoffs, but I think the team that wins that has to have some impact on the championship chase, or else I don't think it's a gimmick. I think it does help that you get extra money for it, right? Christian Wood bought his mom house from it. You got guys who are making $500,000 getting a $500,000 check, after a win or something like that. My plan is to go to, I think it's in Vegas again, right? The championship. I have that correct. So,
Yes.
if the Lakers make it there, I regretted last year not going. I got sick right before. So if it happens again this year, I'll definitely go and head out to Vegas and enjoy the in-season tournament game. But yeah, I'm with you, Q, as well. I feel like it has to have some impact on the championship, or else like fans just won't get as invested. But that game was fun. The Steph and LeBron to me are the two players that like understand the assignment more than any other stars in the league. It's kind of like they know when it's time to put on a show, and Steph did that for the first game.
What I didn't like though, I'll say, is that we played one extra game than everybody else, or whoever, Indiana, but
right.
that was a
didn't
detriment for me. It's like you kind of get penalized for winning, So I think that they need to just look at the schedule and kind of figure that out. And you win the championship, you get rewarded. Just take one of the other games out. It sucks that you might not play one of these other games, but like, don't make us play more games.
True.
And
Absolutely.
it didn't count, right? So like it didn't even count towards the actual win count. Yeah, put us at 47 when we actually had 48 wins.
That is unfortunate. I will say I have the perfect solution. I've been saying it since last year. I think the winner of the cup should be guaranteed no lesser than the 4th seed in the West or in the East, depending on where you win. Why?
Ooh.
Because regardless of your record, now you're guaranteed the 4th seed. And that'll bump somebody down. At the same time, I think it'll give us the motivation to go out there and grab that cup, and I already like the intensity of it. It feels like playoff atmosphere. I mean, that Warriors versus Mavs game I saw Draymond diving on the floor for loose balls and stuff. I'm like, oh yeah, I love it, because we usually don't get that type of intensity in November, right? So I think that was the purpose of it. And also I think the commissioner has done a great job with the play-in tournament to keep guys, or to keep teams engaged and away from tanking as much as possible. So I think these two things, you get younger teams like the Charlotte Hornets and the Pacers playing extra hard around this time of the year. It's a win-win for everybody. Ed, anything you want to throw in the hat about the NBA season tournament?
I agree with the guys. I agree with the panel. Like, I wouldn't hold my breath, and like, if I have something else to do, I'll do it. But it is good fun for who goes to the final. As Big Q said, was great to be the first one. That's going down to history. We were the first one. Nobody can take that out. Bless you, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, but one thing, being the champions of at that time was the NBA Cup, not Emirates Cup. So being the champions of that, I think kind of ruined us a little bit towards our record after, because the team was playing really well in that stretch in December, and then just went downhill after that, and then have to pick it up again. So I think we gassed out, especially LeBron at that period, and I think was detrimental for us, for our standings. So because we have to face Denver in the first round.
Absolutely.
So yeah. So I feel like, we won. Okay, if we win again back to back, great, but let's not go like nuclear into that. Let's not use all our energy. Let's not go crazy. So we can actually save energy towards our end goal, which is the championship. It was the 18th win. So
yes, sir.
That would be the best outcome.
Yep.
Absolutely. And man, I'm glad you mentioned it. I think the key here is just to stay healthy as much as possible. Last year, we looked bad after the in-season tournament, right? We looked bad after that. We went on a nice little slump, and like you said, we looked tired because we expended so much energy to try to win that cup. That I think it ended up being detrimental, like you said. So, but again, there's always a lot of variables and factors that go into it. It is exciting for me, guys. I personally love it. I at first, the idea of it, I hated it. I was like, what is this, soccer? What's going on? Right? But the fact that they're regular season games for the most part outside of the championship game, we can live with that. That's fine. But all in all, man, it's interesting to me. I just hope we don't continue to change the league anymore, because I like tradition, right? Next thing you know, we're going to be having Space Jams 3 in the NBA. 4 points.
One question regarding that. Not NBA, but FIBA. Because, I live in Australia. I'm Brazilian. I live in Australia, so I have a different view as well. I understand NBA champions of the world. I'm not Noah Lyles. However, what you guys would think if you do something like 4 best teams, let's say the European champions, the Oceania champions, or Asia champions, South America or Africa champions and the NBA champions. We do like a fun 2 games, semifinals and final, and then you have the world champion. Whatever. I know the NBA would destroy most likely, but if it is in FIBA,
yeah,
like
hey, the world
rules,
is catching up,
maybe.
man. The world is catching up. You see who the 3-time MVP is, man. The world is catching up, and so who knows? We can no longer say we would destroy because now.
No, but that's the thing.
Yeah.
If the Lakers or if like let's say the Bucks are the champions,
Right.
Giannis would play for the Bucks, wouldn't play for Greece, right? Would be
Right.
like an international cup for teams, not
I like
nationals.
it. I like it. I like the idea, but it would have to take place in the summer, and it would have to be voluntary because you can't force players to do stuff, after the 82 game season. But I do like the idea, Eddie. I think it would be really cool to see that happen. But I think
because you said about soccer, and soccer does that at the
Right.
end of the year. You know what I mean?
Well, the commissioner, I think, slowly but surely is trying to take the game to a global scale. You see the rumors about expanding and adding a team to Mexico City. We have one in Toronto already. So I feel like eventually, slowly but surely, we're trying to take it globally. So you never know. It's a good idea, Eddie. It's a good idea, man. Keep it close to the chest, man. They're gonna take it from you, bro.
I am not holding my breath, bro. Don't worry.
Yeah, I feel you. Well, that's gonna wrap it up for another episode of Around the League. Before I let you guys go, I want to give you guys an opportunity to shout you guys selves out, your platforms, and what you guys are doing. Kimiko, if you could kindly post their links as they shout themselves out, that would be greatly appreciated. But let's start with Big Q. Talk to him, brother.
Hey, everybody. Yep. Dan, appreciate you. Let me be a guest on the show again. Gentlemen, Raj and Eddie, it's been a pleasure. To all of DTLF fans, Dan, the Lakers fan, His and Hers Perspective is my YouTube channel. And I provide motivational speaking, a little bit of fun. I love sports, obviously, too. So you'll kind of see a little bit of mixed bag. But my biggest thing that I provide is a little bit of motivation. Me and my wife have our own podcast. We do life coaching. We do, like I said, motivational speaking. So that's really my thing, is just providing positivity, to all that I can touch. Yep. So join in. I think we got about a little bit over 18,000 subscribers. So please join in, subscribe. Like I said, at least 2 to 3 days a week, I'm hitting you with something. So join in. And like we say, like, subscribe, and share.
Absolutely, Big Q. I'm a big fan of you guys' pod, by the way. You guys are doing a great job. 18K, man, that's no joke. And all the links are also going to be posted in the description of this video for everybody, all right? So definitely tap in with Big Q. I appreciate you, bro. Eddie, go ahead, man. Shout yourself out, bro.
Hey, man, for the past few months, I've been really busy with life. So I haven't been very active in my socials, but this NBA Lakers World right here with my name. Thank you. Shout out to you, Dan. It's been a pleasure always. Pleasure to be back. I know it's been a while, been a minute. Raj, BQ. Raj, nice to meet you. BQ, good to see you again, man. And big shout out to you and your missus, man, because honestly, this type of work that you guys do, motivation, talking about it, live and everything, got me through some shit this year and changed mindset a lot. So yeah, big ups to you guys, and I'm definitely gonna subscribe now. And keep it up, man. Keep it up.
Appreciate it.
Awesome, Eddie. Hey, love you, bro. Love you guys, man. Appreciate you guys again for tapping in, and it's always a pleasure to have you, brothers. You guys are always welcome on the stage. Raj, first timer, but let me tell you something about Raj, man. He works extremely hard, and he's well known, man. Talk to him. Tell him where they can find you at, brother.
Yeah, man, this was a lot of fun. Daniel, it's cool to meet you in person, and then make this happen. And so do this on the show. Q, Eddie, nice to meet you guys. I'll follow both of you guys when we get off of here. But on Twitter at Raj Chapalu, on TikTok, same thing as well. Kind of blowing that one up. And then I'm writing for Clutch Points right now. So right now I'm doing their G League and all the Laker young guys. I'm kind of writing about them. So you can follow me on there. This was a lot of fun though. It was nice meeting all of you guys.
Man, it was definitely a pleasure having all you guys on here. Thank you so much for joining us, Raj. It was nice meeting you as well, bro, in person. And I look forward to another episode next week, guys. Make sure you guys tap in, hit the like button, subscribe, and follow all these gentlemen. Again, all their links will be posted in the description as well, all right? Appreciate you guys. Go Lakers, baby, and we'll talk soon, guys. Have a great one, all right? Peace.